I don't know about that one. Okay, we will start off on. How about we just jump right into Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malei HaShaharei, Malei Elyon, Mi Melech HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Malei HaShalom, Malei Elyon. Mi melech malei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzeidim l'shalom malei hashalom malei elyon. Mi melech malei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. We'll turn page 138 for L'chadodi. L'chadodi likra kala penei Shabbat kabela. L'chadodi likra kala penei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likra kala penei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likra kala Shabbat kabela, Shamor v'zahor b'dibur echad, Ishmi anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tifer v'litila. L'chadodi likra kala, Penei Shabbat kabela. Save Mahashavadila Leha Dodi Leha Dodi Likra Kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Leha Dodi Likra Kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Excuse me. Hitoreri, Kiva ore, Kumi ori, Uhuri, Uri, Shir dabiri, Kivod Adonai Aleich Nigla. Leha Dodi. Leha Dodi Likra Kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Leha Dodi Likra Kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. We'll rise and face the entrance to greet Shabbat. Bohi v'shalom ahateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tzohala, toch emunei segula, bohi hala, leha dodi, leha dodi likra kala, penei shabbat nekabela, leha dodi likra kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela. You may be seated. We'll turn to page 140 at the indentation. Sadika Tamar Yifra Keres Balvanon Yiske Shetulim Beveit Adonai V'hatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yinuvun V'seva Deshenim V'ranim Yehu Lehagi Ki Yashar Adonai Tsuri velo avatabo. This time we'll light Shabbat candles. That it is. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Absence of a minion, we will jump to page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Time and light, you guide the current of day until night. As heaven spins to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hamarif Haravim. Page 150. Ahava Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Umitzvot Mishpatim Tanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu Uvkumenu nasiach Benismach bedivrei Toratecha Halelam vaed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem Negeyo mam v'layla Negeyo mam v'layla Ve'ahavcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayam al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'letecha v'aderech u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafo beinenecha, otavtam al mizuzo beitecha, uvishareha, lema antis keruhu vasitem ekol mitzvotai, vitem kiddushim loehem, ahani Adonai Elohehem, asher hoseiti etem, me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lahem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem. Amen. When we see our people going back to the land of Israel, having left Egypt, what they were doing was, it was almost like when you think about, I think, a salmon that goes back to the stream that it originated from. And this is so much of what's inherent for us, that no matter where in the world we are, that the land of Israel is always a place that is home for us. And like I said, for a Jew, it's instinctual. And so hopefully everybody will feel like they have their sense of belonging in the world, but that we as Jews, no matter what, can always remember that there is that special place where we can go and be free. The Mihamocha is on page 158. Mihamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mihamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilo osefele, Nora tehilo osefele. Mahotecha ra'uvanecha, Bahokei ayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Page 161 at the bottom. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162 at the top. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshtet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Since we don't have a minion, and so we're cutting some stuff out tonight, how about let's go to the bottom of the page for Yismechu. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat kore one Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat kore one Shabbat. Aham mekadeshe Shavi Shahavat Kulam Yisbeu Vehitangdu Metu Vehashahavat Yismechu Vemalehutecha Shomre 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 Shabbat Ekore One Shabbat Yismechu Vemalehutecha Shomre 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 Shabbat One Shabbat V'hashvi'i razita bo kidashto Shabbat Hamdat Yamim Oto Karata Shabbat Yismechu V'malehotecha Shomre 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 Shabbat V'kore One Shabbat Yismechu V'malehotecha Shomre, Shomre, Shomre Shabbat, Ekore One Shabbat, Zecher Lemase Vereshit Shabbat, Zecher Lemase Vereshit Shabbat, Yismechu V'malechotecha, Shomre, Shomre, Shomre Shabbat, Ekore One Shabbat, Yismechu V'malechutecha, Shomre, Shomre, Shomre Shabbat, Ekore One Shabbat. We'll turn to 164. I'll invite you to rise and bow your in spirit. Since we don't have a minion tonight, thank you for being here at least. No holiday weekend, wintertime, it's rough. People are traveling this week. It was, as we call it, Chol HaMoed Goyim this week. So we are going to read silently page 164 through 180, or you can use this as a time for your own prayers and reflections. And when you're finished, you may be seated. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, velo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, velo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, Elo yilmedu od milchama. We'll turn to the middle of page 371 for our prayer for healing of mind, body, and spirit, and those who are in a period of recovery as well. And this week we think of these members of our community and their loved ones who could use a prayer for healing. Adi bat Romit, Aryeh ben Yaakov Mordechai, Baruch ben Sarah, Gilachaya bat Mordechai Leib v'Gilalea, Gitalea bat Mashahana, Itka Fega bat Gittel, Rachel Liba bat Moshe Menachem Mendel v'Gittel, Suai bat Sarah, Tova Hava bat Haya Rachel, Sui ben Yosefa, Yisrael Beryl ben Shirka, Yitzhak Meir ben Yehudi v'David Laban, Maria Allred, Sarah Bell, Ed Bronsky, Rowan Fay, Martin Goffin, Jan Hausman, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Mort Pellet, Bern Saltzman, Penny Spector, Nancy Sterling, Adina Stern, Soak Taking, Stephanie Walsh, Michael Winston, and Judy Wolf. And if you have a name to add, feel free to share while looking your direction. If you're watching our live stream, you can share a name as well. Ken Mill 371. Mi shebera avotenu mekor habraha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebera imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. All right, Shabbat Shalom. In our Torah portion this week, this is the very last portion of the book of Genesis. And one of the things that happens is that our patriarch Jacob dies. But where does he die? He dies in the land of Egypt. And his sons carry him from Egypt back to the land of Israel, and they bury him in the cave of Machpelah, in what today is Hebron, and bury him alongside his parents and his grandparents, and also his wife Leah. And Jacob, so they bring him back to the land of Israel to do that. And also in our Torah portion, his son Joseph dies. But Joseph, on the other hand, is buried in Egypt, but he's not in accordance with Jewish tradition at all. He's actually mummified, since he was an Egyptian leader, and is told one day, I want to be buried back in the land of Israel. And that ends up happening when our people go back there. But when Jacob's sons take him to the land of Israel to bury him, they could have just stayed there. After all, it was not particularly convenient back then. There weren't cars, there weren't steamships, there wasn't buses or airplanes where they could travel back and forth. They had to carry Jacob all the way across the desert and then bury him. And it would have made sense for them to say, you know what, the famine over in the land of Israel is over. We're going to stay here now that we're back here. But that's not what happened. Jacob's sons returned to Egypt, dwelled there. And this teaches us a couple things. One, that us having a presence in the diaspora is an important part of Jewish history that goes all the way back to Genesis. And that, in a way, Jacob's sons and certainly his grandchildren became Egyptian. And I want you to think about that, because for us as American Jews, we are Americans. Yes, we're Jews, but we are Americans. We have contributed as a group a tremendous amount to the communities that we live in. On, of course, a national level, there have been Jewish senators and members of Congress and Supreme Court justices and tremendous, tremendous leaders. And even on a local level here in Utah, some of the great business leaders of our town have been Jewish. We had a Jewish governor, a Jewish mayor, and also our symphony hall, where I was the night, is named for Maurice Abravanel, who was our conductor of our symphony for over 30 years, who was Jewish. And so we contribute a lot to the societies where we live. And you can see that in pretty much every single society that has had a population, is that the Jews have contributed to those communities and made an impact, because Jews see themselves as a part of that society, a part of that community. And that's why there's many Jews also in the U.S. Armed Forces and, like I said, involved in civil society. And so this is an important part of who we are. But not everybody understands that, because as we also read in this week's portion, being connected to Israel is a significant part of who we are too. And that doesn't always mean agreeing with everything that Israel does, but having a deep and strong connection to Israel is, I think, mandatory about having a Jewish experience and being connected to Judaism. So I see folks, particularly non-Jews or very unaffiliated Jews who want to, use their Jewish card when it's convenient to them, say Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism. And that couldn't be further from the truth. We see that in this week's Torah portion. We saw that a couple weeks ago with Hanukkah, that Jews have had a deep connection to their homeland, to our homeland, and wanting to continue to contribute to it and be a part of it even when we are living elsewhere. And I say all this because yesterday some significant history was made, and that was that Zohran Mamdani was sworn in as the mayor of New York City. And Zohran Mamdani, in a lot of ways, represents something very encouraging and new, in that he is an immigrant, he is Muslim, he is I'm not sure if he's millennial or Gen Z, but he is young, and that is exciting to see all of those things come together to lead the biggest city in America. However, where Zohran Mamdani is also fascinating is that he is a man with no managerial experience who is now managing the largest city in America. He is an anti-capitalist, capitalist city in the world, and he is an anti-Zionist in the most Jewish populated city on earth. There is not even in Israel is there a city with as many Jews as New York City has. And so we saw on day one of his administration, he tore up bills that were preventing boycott, divestment, sanctions against Israel He also threw out the International Holocaust Center's definition of what anti-Semitism is. And yet he stood up and said, I am going to be a mayor for all New Yorkers. And I think he believes that. I truly think he believes that. But I think that Zohran Mamdani doesn't understand who we are as a people. And it's hard. I think we need to give grace and sympathy and patience to folks who are not Jewish. Because for a lot of them, how could they understand? This is something that is very unique to us. Like, I mean, I don't really expect a Danish American to have the same connection to Denmark that Jews do to Israel. Or let's say you're hypothetically a Danish American. Certainly, why would you have any connection to the Netherlands? Well, it's another Christian, country with a Christian background from Europe, and you're a Christian from Europe. Well, no, of course you're not going to have a connection. And likewise, Muslims too. Maybe if you're from Pakistan or your parents were from Pakistan, you'll have a connection with Pakistan, but you're not going to have that same connection with another Muslim country like Somalia. This is something unique to Jews. Where we don't have, you often hear in Israel, like in Eretz Acheret, there is no other land. We have in Lanu Eretz Acheret, we have no other land. This is something that's unique to us. And people don't seem to understand that part of being a Jew in America is being both fully American and fully connected to the place where Jews come from, the land of Israel. And so I hope and pray that every single person, particularly Christian anti-Zionists, which has become much more prominent among left-wing Christian churches, that they will take the time, since they share the book of Genesis with us, to read this story this week and to really think about what that means for their American Jewish friends and neighbors. We see with Joseph a person who does more than anybody else for Egyptian society. He is a leader for the Egyptians, and he saves the Egyptians from famine. He saves the country, and he lives there for the rest of his life. Even when he has the opportunity to go back to the land of Israel, he stays in Egypt. He is fully a part of Egyptian society. And that's who he is, and should be celebrated for that. But at the same time, he doesn't forget where he comes from. And that there's something within him, and certainly within his father as well. He can say, I can live outside the land of Israel, but my heart will always be over there. And hopefully leaders and other people will start to understand that more. And they will understand that it's unfair to put Jews in a position where they feel like they have to choose one or the other. Where is my heart versus where am I physically? And I can love both places. I can love both places, and I can be a part of both places and also still be fully loyal to the United States or wherever you're living, and should be celebrated for being a part of that society as well. Hopefully that is what people will do for us, but hopefully we as Jews will be able to enrich the communities that we live in while never ever losing our connection to where we come from. Shabbat Shalom. I'll make just few announcements. Thanks, Stefan, for being here, keeping us safe. So if you join us, oh God, all right, sorry, I'll try to do this without rolling my eyes. You can join us next Friday, January 9th, for Superhero Shabbat. This was not my idea. We'll begin with our Tot Shabbat service at 5 o'clock, followed by our dinner at 5:30 and our family Shabbat service at 6:30. Come dressed as your favorite superhero or someone you look up to! Exclamation mark. Other upcoming events and classes include our next coffee and community on January 11th at 9:15. Make sure you register for the location. And the Colony Book Club, led by Jared Cooling, is launching on Monday, January 12th at 6:30 p.m. The first selection is The History of Love by Nicole Krauss. Join us to connect, reflect, and discover your next favorite book. And our next Rosh Chodesh women's group is on Tuesday, January 13th at 6:30 p.m. We'll be welcoming Colony member Dr. Kelly Barron to Women's Sleep Across Life Stages. Dr. Barron is not only a member here, but a world-renowned expert on sleep. So come learn from her. New Hebrew classes are going to start January 20th and are now open for enrollment. We are offering Biblical Hebrew levels 1 and 2, Conversational Hebrew level 2, and Advanced Conversational Hebrew. Our next congregational trip to Montreal and Toronto is June 2nd through 7th. Registration will close next Sunday. If you're thinking of joining for what will be an informative, fun trip, please register right away so we can fill the seats and confirm. Contact me for more information. We are currently collecting food donations to support Jewish Family Service Food Bank. A bin is located in the West Foyer. And thank you all, by the way. I'm happy to share that we met and I believe exceeded our High Holiday campaign goal. So thank you for all of you who contributed to help us do that so that we can not only ensure that our synagogue continues to function this year, but I tell people when we exceed our budget, if we do happen to exceed our budget for the end of this year, that allows us to put some money into a rainy day fund so that in case the synagogue struggles another year, we can take care of what we need to, and we can keep this synagogue going year after year after year for generations to come, which is important. So with that, you can find anything else on our website or in your emails. So we will turn to the concluding part of our service with Aleinu, page 586 at the bottom page. I'll invite you to rise by or in spirit. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol tegidu la'liotzer reshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kehol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtahavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehunat Hashamayim V'yosei Haaretz Moshe V'yikach B'Shamayim Ima'al U'Shinatu Zo V'gov Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emem Malkeinu Efes Zulato Ka'katuv B'Torato V'datayom Datayom v'hashivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imal el haaretz mitacha einod. Okay, nekamelech Adonai. Oops. May be seated. Ka'katuv b'Torah techa Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Well, we don't have a minion to be able to say Kaddish, unfortunately, at night. Like I said, I think a lot of people are traveling. I will read names of those who death has recently taken from us, and those whose yortzites fall this week. In Pirish Shloshim, 30-day Purim morning, we remember Shmuel ben Kovsky, father of Galit Livnei. And this week we remember the following individuals whose anniversary of their passing falls this week: Ann Anson, Galena Balk, Abe Baum, James M. Birdwell Jr., Lillian Brief, Edna Barak Lonstein, Joe Doctorman, Bertha Douglas Frank, Geraldine Jerry Dupler, Edward Eisen, Aaron Feuerstein, Harry J. Finke, Naomi Franklin, Carolyn Cole Goldenberg, Stephanie Hennian, Eugene Hertz, Carol Isaacson, Harold Jaffe, Gabrielle Gabby Janov, Robert Kalin, Saul Korewa, Myron Korn, Howard Lerner, Dina Lenato, William Litvak, Eleanor Meyer Kochel, Clara Polliner, Ethel Pollock, Sarah Pritzker, Fred Proval, Wendy Ray Atwood, Irving Rosenwald, A. Wally Sandak, William Schulman, Corrine Siegel, Miriam Shapiro, Marlene Shulak Isaacson, Solomon Smith, Rudia Starodubsky, and Louis D. Tannenbaum. And if you have a name that you would like to add, I invite you to do so while I look in your direction. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Like I said, we won't read Kaddish since we don't have a minyan, but I will read this poem from Hanish Senish. There are stars up above, so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember them. And we will conclude, how about, with, we can conclude with Ein Keloheinu, how about 626? Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Hadonenu, Mi Himalkeinu, Mi Hamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. I'll invite you to rise in body, order, and spirit for Kiddush. Vayir vevoke yom hashishi v'hu hashemayim v'aretz v'osvam v'yom hashvi malakto asher asa v'yishbo b'yom hashvi mikol malakto asher asa v'yevrech Elohim et yom hashvi v'kadesh oto kivo Shabbat mikol malakto asher bara Elohim asot savri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kisham mitzvotav v'ratzavanu yeshiva kodsho be'ahava v'ratzon hini lanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila l'mikrei kodesh seher l'tziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbat Kodesh ve'ahava uvratzon in haltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat l'chaim. And we have a awesome looking challah here. So let's join together. Once I get it open. 1 second. Tied up very tightly. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Feel free, come grab some. Shabbat shalom. How are you doing? Shabbat shalom. Good to see you.